We've come to a time of year before our season starts where local circuits have either evaluation shows or premiere shows. These are shows where units come together without the pressure of competition, usually for two purposes. The first one, many circuits use this opportunity to place them in classes according to their points of development. And then other circuits use this as an opportunity to bring in either guest judges or guest instructors to run overview commentary, or in some cases, even sit with the instructors and perhaps run short, like 30-minute clinics. These are great opportunities to come out and show the work that you have up to this point without the pressure of competition. And it also acts kind of as a dry run for the performers so they can kind of get their performance legs going also. One of the first things that instructors need to remember is that you have to divorce your ego in these situations. And that's very difficult to do. I see this mistake happen a lot early season, where you've been cooped up for months working on this project. You've incubated the idea and then developed it over a long period of time. And it really is just like your baby. And this is the first public viewing, and you want everybody just to tell you how beautiful and wonderful your baby is. And that can be part of it for sure. But if it's your sole focus going into this, you're wasting a great opportunity. And I have found in situations where I've been either the clinician and sometimes even the instructor in of it, where I've not gone past the idea of criticism in order to listen to the criticism that happens at this point of year. And this particular year is going to be so important because ultimately we have limited opportunities for feedback. You may or may not know that in this year of transition back into live performances, WGI does not have the opportunity to be able to facilitate critiques for the 2022 season. This means that every opportunity for feedback and to capture someone's impression will be critical. It's certainly a larger conversation to explain that everybody's impression can add some value, whether it be a parent or an administrator or peer instructors or perhaps a mentor instructor or judges. But the most important thing is to understand, how do you take the information? How do you apply the information? And then the other aspect is, what type of information do you expect from these different people? Let's talk about instructors and judges primarily. Instructors and designers are never short of ideas. So if you know that your panel is going to be instructors or designers, then this is a really good opportunity for you to get your list of questions ahead of time and be able to point to certain spots in your program where you're having an issue and not understanding perhaps which direction to go. Or maybe you want options beyond what you've thought of yourself. Or maybe you're having trouble maximizing how choreography lays onto the design. Instructors will be there to offer you options and solutions. Understand it may not be inside your aesthetic, and ultimately it's your information to then take back after this experience and apply it however you wish. Ultimately, these choices are yours to be made. If there are guest judges on the panel, this will be your closest opportunity you have for an early season critique. So get ready to ask them those types of questions and to have those types of conversations. One big mistake that most young instructors make is understanding that a judge is not there to give you solutions to your design or choreographic issues or problems. They are there to talk about your competitive viability. Though there are many judges that are also instructors, there's no assumption that they come in with the ability to offer you the solutions you're asking for with creative issues. Remember, the judge's focus is competitive viability. No matter who is in front of you, you can glean critical information from absolutely every impression that's offered to you in these situations. Listen carefully, diagram the conversation, make a list of points, and then pick and choose the things that match your aesthetic, where you feel like your priorities are, and then find the solutions that best suit you. When I was a young instructor, it was common to go to 3 or 4 regionals a season. And many times, because the activity was smaller, you were able to see the same judges over the season. And so judges more easily tracked progression over time, and they could see contrast from early season shows to mid to late, and then obviously into championships. The activity has grown such where that's not possible anymore. Most of that type of relationship happens now on the local level. It is your local judge that is able to see you week after week and track your progress from one week to the next, and to track your improvement or to see where maybe you're making lateral shifts or changes that don't provide the impact that you're hoping. Local judges are able to look and speak to comparative week to week improvements and can score accordingly. Regional judges, however, have to look at the program as though it is as it's intended to be in a final state, and they look at it in terms of a more of an achievement or less of an achievement when they look comparatively from group to group. An easy way to think of this is that your local shows are your testing grounds, your regionals are your proving grounds. The focus of these two communities of judges is different, and it's important to understand that difference so that you can place your expectations as you work to establish those relationships that are going to carry you through the competitive season. Get to know your local judges. Oftentimes at these premiere shows, especially if they're evaluation shows where groups get classified, you'll see judges there, usually in training, having their own sessions, but they're usually in the gym at the same time. It's always a good idea to make your presence known and to establish those relationships as soon as you can, even if it's just stopping by and waving at the community of judges as they're in the stands or saying hello and introducing yourself. Those relationships become key through the season. So as you go into these early premiere shows, evaluation shows, and then the early competitive shows, it's important to remember that no matter who you talk to, every impression is important. You can glean some kind of value from every person's reaction. But depending on who you're talking to, whether it be a parent or another instructor or a judge, make sure you place your expectations appropriately. Don't expect all things from all people. And remember that in this year of transitions back into live performances, WGI is not able to offer critiques for the 2022 season. That means that you have to establish, grow, and maintain your relationship with those local judges that can mirror and help you track progress week after week all through the season. They're going to be critical allies for you. And remind yourself that judges, both local and regional and national level judges, are there as partners in competition. They are not opponents. And this year, more than most, it's going to be important to remember that. We're rapidly reaching the point where we're finally going to see each other at a live performance. I'm super excited. We'll be in touch at early February. We get to those first regional weekends. Until then, everybody be creative, be strategic, and most importantly, be brilliant.